It's your boy Opally, and today we're doing yet another Mario What If. This is what if Deku had Miles' powers. Yes, Miles' powers from basically Into the Spider-Verse. The powers pretty much include webs that can shock people, and you can shock people by touch too. Oh yeah, and invisibility, and yeah, pretty much regular Spider-Man shit, just his powers too. Let's get into the story. This would all start off with Miles being in his own universe, stealing similar spiders that can turn people into Spider-Man like how he did. He's pretty much stealing them from Doctor Octopus, which is trying to make like a fucking spider army. And yeah, he ain't trying to have that. So yeah. So he pretty much are trying to steal these spiders, and what it's basically about 6 spiders in a canister. And but the thing is that they're fucking cloning them. So if they clone these 6 spiders into like thousands and millions of them, they're gonna have like a whole bunch. As long as there's one, they can still clone it. That's the problem. So he's pretty much stealing this. And for some reason he starts glitching and the spiders drop. And pretty much the canister opens and the spiders pretty much go all over the place. He's trying to find them as he glitches again and he just glitches into a whole different universe. All he can think is not again, and just hope that they just didn't find the spiders, as he's pretty much trying to find out where he is. He's swinging all over the place, and he would eventually hear a muffled scream. He would see what it was. He would see a tunnel. Then he would see a sludge thing. As he would think, oh, it's a villain. So he would basically, tug on the villain with his webs and electrocute it. As the villain is wondering what's going on, as it's being tugged to the right, it would look and it would see that it's getting electrocuted. It's pretty much screaming. It would let Deku go, as Deku's pretty much unconscious. Miles, I'm just gonna call him like Miles for now. So Miles, he pretty much is wondering, okay, I'm just gonna, as the fog get cut off by All Might coming through the sewer, and pretty much taking the sludge villain and saying, well, you did good, hero, and pretty much dipping, as you know, he can definitely tell that this place is a lot different. He sees the Japanese letters and the tall and the neo light buildings. He sees that this is not, Kansas. So Kansas is not the actual places where he's from. It's supposed to mean home. If you get it, you get it. But it's not Brooklyn. So he's trying to dip, but Deku would wake up and ask what hero was he, because and what happened, what hero was he, stuff like that. And he would just say, I'm the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Otherwise you can just call me Spider-Man. And Deku would just think that would be so cool, and he would ask like, what type of moves can you actually do? He's basically asking what type of powers does he have, and he would basically say, well, I have the powers of spiders. As he's under the tunnel, he would just jump up and do like a little flip, and he would pretty much have his feet sticking to the ceiling. And Deku's amazed at this. He thinks it's a cool quirk. So he has his notebook that's still burnt and all that, and he's pretty much writing in it. As and as he said, as he would basically say he can do this too. As he would shoot a web, and he can basically shoot electricity through it too. And Deku, being knowing being one of the smartest people in the show, or through the class 1A, like in that class. Not not talking about Aizawa. He's not included, but you know, he's pretty smart, so he would know about like a spider that has the ability to shock people when they bite. So he said, "Oh, it must be based off of this such and such spider," and no, he would be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, you know a lot, but where are we exactly?" As Deku would have this confused look on his face, and he's like, "What?" As like, "What? Like, where is this?" And he would say, "Like, this is Japan." As you know, Miles's eyes would widen as he knows that he's not anywhere near where he's from. So yeah. So yeah, he just says, "Oh, okay," as he would swing off. And Deku would think it was so cool to see him do that. So he would pretty much go home. He'd be writing about him, doing all that shit, doing his thing. And yeah, he's doing that. And Deku would try to start his 10 months of training, but he really does not know what to do. So he would look up a good place to train where no one goes, and luckily he would find Degama Beach. As to Miles's point of view, he's pretty much wandering around, trying to find some. And he's just wandering around. He doesn't even know what to do at this point. So yeah. So eventually he would find himself at Degama Beach with Deku, and Deku would see him again, so he would run over to him, or go over to him, and ask for his autograph. As Miles would say, "Oh, it's you again." As he would basically give him an autograph, as like he knows that this is super super weird. This is not just regular shit when he's like only the hero. But no, there's niggas coming out of the fucking blue. Like, we don't even know where half of these people are coming from. Like, who are you? Like, yeah, so obviously, yeah. So he's pretty much asking Deku about like what are quirks, as Deku just has this dumbfounded face of like, what? He would explain quirks to him, and he would ask why would he ask what is quirks, as there's no way to actually lie to him at this point. You can lie, but it won't get you anywhere. So yeah, he would basically say, let's just say I was fighting a villain, and I was about to fight a villain, and it didn't really end too well for me, and I got put in this world. Like, I'm not from this world. As just for proof, he's actually glitching out. And at first, Deku didn't believe him, but he just saw him glitch out. So now he's a true believer. So he pretty much just says, if I can't get out of this place soon, I'm pretty much gonna die. So I'm gonna need somebody to basically. I'm gonna need somebody to carry on the Spider-Man name, as well as Deku would say, "Oh, okay. Wait, are you talking about me?" As pretty much it's pretty much that conversation, but it's Miles and it's Deku. So he's pretty much there's no, he doesn't really know a way for him to get out, because just like the first time, he had no Peter Parker's help, but now he doesn't have his help, and he's in a totally different place. He don't even know how to read. He doesn't know how to read anything here. He's wandered around. So pretty much everything is pretty much all gonna be pretty crazy because I'll say that I'll say that yeah. I'll say that Miles, he got one spider out of the 6. I'll say he got one spider. Just so Deku can get bit by one. So yeah, he pretty much just has this spider. And it's just in this fucking canister of the other ones that are gone. But it's in this canister and there's only one in there. So he would just say, I'm gonna have to pass on the power. But pretty much, it's pretty much the same spiders. It's pretty much the same spider, but it's not the exact same one. So Deku would pretty much get bit by the spider, giving him the powers. Deku would, feel a little drowsy and sleepy, and he would pretty much go to sleep. Like 3 hours later, he would wake up, and without him noticing, Miles would basically says, okay, now let's train. Deku feels energetic, and so when he gets up and he pretty much run towards Miles to start the 10 months of training, he's running almost just as fast as him, as he thinks, oh, well, what the fuck? Oh, hold up, this ain't it. As he's pretty much running faster than he would anyway. So he would do the training for the day by cleaning up the beach, pulling shit with his webs, which Spider-Man does do a lot. So it would be kind of training for Spider-Man. So they're pretty much doing Spider-Man stuff like pulling heavy objects with the webs, and training with making yourself stick on things, which Deku has to learn to calm down, because Deku be really over-analyzing things. He kind of overreacts to everything. So he has to be more calm. So this is a more calm Deku, because he has to, do the training that Miles did with Spider-Man, which was barely training, but somehow he caught on and he did what he had to do. Since Deku could actually train more and more to actually use the webs correctly and actually learn how to swing correctly. So they're pretty much swinging around Tokyo buildings, pretty much doing all that. And it's pretty good training because he has a lot more time to actually do it. I mean, really, Miles probably had like a week or two to actually train, or even that, like a couple of days to actually get a hang of being Spider-Man. And he did it like at the last literal second. And Deku's gonna have 10 months to do it, so there's no real rush. So Deku's real good at being Spider-Man now, or being this universe's Spider-Man. So Deku would start would go to the entrance exam, and as he's about to trip over a rock, he would get the spider senses. So he would just like walk right past it, as he seems pretty alarmed by it. So yeah, Deku would pretty much not fall. So yeah, and he would go into the written exam and he would do it pretty easily because Deku is still smart. And I guess, he would do it pretty good. I'll say he gets like the highest score, cause why not? Yeah, he would go to the fucking robot exam, to the explanation of it at least. And President Mike would explain how it works and how there's a 1-pointer, 2-pointer, 3-pointer, and 4-pointer, and 0-pointer. And fuck it, yeah. So he would basically explain that, and they all gonna fucking dip, cause yeah, him and Ida wouldn't have that type of interaction. So Ida wouldn't stop him if he tried to go to Uraraka, but since he never fell, he wouldn't have to do that. So the gate would open, or Miles would or Deku, oh my god. Deku. I'll say that Miles is actually watching it. He's just on the outskirts of the fucking center. He's just on top of it, just looking. He got a fucking, what do you call it? Forgot the fucking thing. It can make you see better when you're looking towards it. I forgot what it was called, but yeah, I'll remember it later. But Deku is pretty much gonna swing his web over the thing, and people are like, yo, what? As the gate open and everybody's running, he's going through these robots. It's almost like they were made for him. He's just swinging around them, making the legs come close together so they fall, destroying multiple robots by making robots fall. Like, he's fucking just punching them with bare strength. Like, he's fast. He's over here jumping. Oh yeah, and Spider-Man, I don't know why, but he just keep on getting back up, man. Like, it's almost like you can't kill him until you actually do. Like, bro, you're gonna be exhausted. So pretty much, I'll say that he gets hit by a robot, but like a 3-pointer, and he flies into a building. He just don't even give a fuck. Like, he just get back up as people just think he's totally injured. Nah, that's some weak shit, bro. You always gotta get back up when you're Spider-Man. So, I mean, he pretty much steps on the ground and pretty much pulls that robot's head off by just using pure webs, bro. And pretty much he's electrocuting robots with webs. He's doing all types of shit. They like, bro, what is this man's quirk? Deku's hero suit is basically just Miles's costume. It basically is it. It's just I don't want to say it's green. I don't want to say, because I don't really like that color for Spider-Man. I don't know why. But for now, we can just say it's pretty much Miles' costume, with the shorts, the jacket, and the Spider-Man shirt, and yeah, the hoodie. So yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. And he's fucking shit up. It's too easy for him. So he's pretty much gonna go and do that. And this is near the end, so he lands on the building and he's chilling. So yeah, the 0-pointer would appear and people are running from it. He's looking at it. He kind of wants to mark it, so he's about to do it until he hears a scream. And yeah, he would basically attach a web to the building, start swinging, and he's basically doing flips in the air. He dodges the robot's arm, runs up it, and then, well, puts webs on it, then fucking swings down from it, so the head comes down and breaks apart from the rest of the body, and it just falls back and just makes a crater into the ground. Deku would land. He would use webs to get the debris off of Uraraka, and yeah, she'll be fine when well, what's her name, fucking heal her. So yeah, she's gonna be totally fine after that. Yeah, he just did that in like 3 seconds. Like, he's too good. So yeah, days later he would swing off, and yeah, he's pretty much a vigilante. Like, he's pretty much a vigilante. Down to a T. So, yeah, Deku will get the note saying that he pretty much got in. So a day later, he would go there, and yeah, he's doing pretty good. He pretty much went there, and Right after that, he's looking for the class. He's looking for the class, and then he would eventually find it. He'd open the door, and all he would see in here is Bakugo and Tenya Ida just fucking roasting each other. Or really just arguing, but it is what it is. Deku ain't trying to have time for this. So when Bakugo go over to him, he try to fucking fuck with him. Yeah, he just turns invisible on him and says, "Yeah, maybe next time, buddy." As it was like, damn, he's smooth with it though. As he would turn uninvisible at his seat, and Uraka come through. It's pretty much thank Deku. And yeah, Aizawa tell him to shut up. They go outside. They do a ball throw. They hand the ball to Deku. He pretty much swings it around. Maximum effort ass boy. He gets that 9,000, which is basically the highest score for all the students who actually got numbers. Unlike Uraraka, didn't follow the fucking rules. Like, goddamn, you couldn't just get a number? Like, what is wrong with you? So, he would continue on to get first place, everything except for the ball throw, because he is super fast. Yeah. What do I else have to say? He's super fast, super strong. He can turn himself invisible. He can electrocute shit, bro. He's just that nigga. And he's running around in the rover. So Deku pretty much gets first place in everything. They pretty much get told about the fucking hero versus villains. Baku will come downstairs to try to do it. And everybody is pretty much seeing that the whole concept of hero versus villains is so dumb, man. This shit is stupid, man. JK. I'm trying to make this video longer. Ichigo bleeding today. I'm about to do yet another Mario What If. This is What If Deku had Miles' powers part 2. Seems that people like it. And I really don't know what to do. I have no ideas. So yeah. So we left this off right before the hero versus villains and the UJ and the sports festival. So yeah, let's get into that. This would pretty much all start off with them with the class in there, and well, All Might Come Through. He pretty much explained the hero versus villains, and they pretty much start to team. And it's Deku, Momo, and Todoroki and Bakugo. Deku and Momo, they would pretty much run up to the 3rd floor around that mark, and Bakugo would come through. Deku would turn invisible, and Momo would go upstairs, and, well, they would start their fight. Deku would pretty much slip onto a wall, electrocute, Bakugo on the back. Bakugo's throwing explosions, but he still can't see. Well, he can't see Deku. So Deku's just easily bodying him. No, this takes no effort at this point. And eventually Bakugo just throwing around random explosions. Deku would get his spider sense, and he would get hit by it. He would get hit by it, and his invisibility would kind of glitch out, so you can kind of still see him. But he would kind of like that. And Bakugo would basically throw his biggest attack now that he sees Deku. And Deku would just pull him towards it with his webs and flip over him and let the webs go, as the explosion would explode Bakugo and himself, with basically knocking him out. He would pretty much, he's knocked out. He gets captured, and Deku pretty much swings up to, the top, sling up to the ceiling, and he pretty much busts in the roof floor. the roof, the ceiling roof, the ceiling door. Okay, the roof door. He would basically bust open the roof door, and he would basically see Momo and Todoroki pretty much fighting. Momo got her staff. She's swinging it around. Todoroki using his ice to try to block it. They throwing hands. Todoroki would basically kick the staff into a wall, so it's stuck into a wall now. And yeah, they're pretty much still fighting. Momo can't get it because she's fighting Todoroki. Deku would, basically jump down, swing the staff, pretty much, web the staff and swing it towards Todoroki's head. As Todoroki would duck, Momo would take it, pretty much hit Todoroki in the side once he comes up, and now he's boxed into this corner where Deku and Momo are just fucking him up. So yeah, he pretty much gets bodied real quick as they pretty much celebrate as they capture Todoroki. Hero team wins, and other matches would happen pretty easily. But at the end of the day, after doing all that work and that stuff, they get told about the USJ and how they're gonna be going in 3 days. Time skip to 3 days later, after regular school stuff, they would go to the USJ. They would all pile up on the bus, but for some reason, Deku, when he gets closer and closer to the USJ, the more his head starts to ring with that spidey sense. So yeah, when they get to Deku to talk about his quirk, Deku just says it's pretty much spider, and he just does whatever a spider can do. So he just can walk on walls and just shoot webs, and he can electrocute people and turn invisible, which that's cool, no, but I don't know how a spider has that ability. But mainly Spider-Man stuff. So Deku would pretty much be at the USJ. And this point, his head is just off the fucking clock, bro. He's going crazy. And he basically would alert Aizawa. He would basically be like a foot away from him. He would pretty much walk up to him, and he would say, I don't think we should be here because I think somebody's coming. As Aizawa would knowing of Deku's abilities, he would quickly understand what's going on. As he would say, students evacuate the building. As they would do that on the clock, the villains would come out the portal. Aizawa would run in. Aizawa, 13, Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki, they would all run in. Okay, yeah, those people would run in. And the rest of the students just out there being useless. So, yeah, they pretty much doing that. Deku would basically, Deku and Aizawa are pretty much a little team, and Bakugo and Todoroki are their own team. So, they're putting in good hands. Aizawa pretty much using his scarf to bring people towards him, pretty much kicking them, doing all types of shit. And Deku is working pretty good with him because of his Spider-Man quirk, pretty much copying the moves that Aizawa does, like bringing them towards him, but he would put his own spin on it. Yeah, so he's pretty much would pull somebody towards him and pretty much jump in the air while they're pretty much being pulled towards him and pretty much slam him on the ground, putting his own thing at the end of each move that he copies. So he's pretty much seeing Aizawa's moves and he's doing them in his own way, and they're clapping cheeks, like they're in full harmony. Aizawa over there dealing with 3 people, he would just jump over him, take one guy out, and he'll just assist with the other guy, and Aizawa just handles one other guy. Like, bro, they're just getting bodied. So when Shigaraki pull up on Aizawa, he try to touch him. Deku just web his hand, and Shigaraki just basically decays the web, and what's his name, Aizawa can get away and use his scarf and pretty much slam him. Shigaraki tries to decay the scarf. As Deku, he can realize that Shigaraki has some type of disintegration quirk or something like a decay. He pretty much realizes by the second time he uses it that it has to have five fingers on the object or something to actually decay it. So he would basically start going in on him. He would inform Aizawa about it, and they would basically make this plan of moving up on him and just fucking moving fast enough, or just helping the other person get out of the situation where he's about to touch them. So yeah. So pretty much Deku is pretty much running up on Shigaraki. He pretty much uses webs to pull Shigaraki towards him. As Aizawa just looks at him. They make that eye-to-eye contact for that 1 second, loses his quirk. So Shigaraki tries to use it on Deku, but it doesn't really work. So Deku just pretty much knees him in the face, slaps him away, as he can't do nothing to him. Aizawa would basically tie him down with the scarf that he can't really get out of. Only Aizawa can pretty much, use it. So that's when Shigaraki will try to call out the Nomu for Kirigiri to open the portal. As Aizawa is wondering what the fuck a Nomu is, Deku would basically be like, okay, who's next? As the Nomu comes out the portal, and it just walks up on Deku. As Shigaraki would say, kill that kid. As it would just pick Deku up from the head and literally yeet him into the wall. As all he can think, as he's in a crater in the wall, he's next. So, he's barely getting up. He's over there holding his head. And Aizawa basically has to run over to Deku and he'll try to help him out because he's finna get hit again in the head, and he ain't trying to have a fucking fine on his head. Yeah, I just messed up my sentence, but Deku is about to get punched in the head because the Nomu is coming towards him, while Deku is pretty much still in that crater in the wall. And Aizawa gotta save him because he's not trying to have this man to die. So, yeah. So, yeah. Aizawa, he pretty much blinks and erases the Nomu's quirk. And the Nomu is still strong, so it pretty much punches Aizawa away, breaks his jaw. And, Shigaraki can use his quirk again. So he's out and about. And pretty much all you hear, all Deku saw is Nomu coming up, Aizawa get hit, and ever since that happened, he been hearing this beeping sound. And it seems that it's coming from his jacket that Miles gave him, but once he looks at it, he sees that it's a beeping light, as the Nomu's over there beating up Aizawa. So it's pretty much, he looks at this beeping light, and it turns green. Then all you can hear is just glass come down from the fucking sky, as it's literally Miles coming in to help Deku in this situation. So Deku would smirk, and Miles would help him up, and they would basically initiate that tag team on the Nomu. So yeah, Miles was basically using the webs to basically tie the Nomu down, pretty much swinging around him, and Deku coming through on the brain, because he realizes from, Aizawa's in the Nomu's fight, that Aizawa can do some fucking damage. Like, Aizawa's still strong for somebody who doesn't have a strength quirk. And it doesn't seem like the Nomu's getting phased at all. Matter of fact, it's looking like it had shock absorption. Because when Miles punched it, it made a hole through it, but it regenerated. And even Miles said he barely got through. So Deku would put the pieces together, and he would realize, what makes you heal? The brain. If you don't got a brain, you can't really do anything. So Deku, when Miles pretty much tied the Nomu down, Deku would jump on the shoulders of the Nomu and electrocute the brain, as Miles is pretty much electrocuting the webs too. So the Nomu pretty much gets fried. All Might come through, and he sees, All Might come through, and he just sees Deku there. But no, Miles is gone. He ain't trying to get caught because Miles is not a hero. He's pretty much, he would be classified as a vigilante. So he can't just be out and about just doing shit. So yeah, Miles had to come through. So Deku basically greet All Might, but he pretty hurt, so he would fall out as the Nomu is on there fried. He just sees Shigaraki and Kirigiri dip as he leaves the rest of the low tier villains, and they're tied up and pretty much bodied by Aizawa and Deku. So eventually, throughout time, Deku would get back up, and Deku would get back up because he is Spider-Man. He ain't staying down forever. That's pretty much the Spider-Man thing to do. So yeah, Aizawa get healed, he get healed. Now we all good now. It's a family reunion. So yeah, Deku pretty much, we go to fucking Dagama Beach, and he would basically see Miles there. He would basically chill with him, train a little bit, and do Spider-Man stuff, like that. So yeah, he would pretty much come back to UA after that 2-week little vacation off of school, just to recuperate, just to live your life. So yeah, he come back from that, and yeah, he kind of famous now. He basically did it all by himself. He could have did it all by himself. It just took slightly longer. Bakugo and Todoroki ain't getting no fame. So pretty much, yeah, he come back. They get told about how the sports festival about to be in 5 days. Time skip to 5 days later. They are piling up on a bus. They get to the stadium, and they're all lined up, and they have a Class 1A representative. Deku show up. He pretty much gives some inspirational Spider-Man speech, and dip. Everybody clap, cause why not? It's Spider-Man. Somebody gotta give him his credit. Now on to the race. Deku has this in the bag. So yeah, he pretty much is just doing his thing. Like, he's faster than Ida. Like, he was like a little slower than Ida before Spider-Man's powers, because he was training. But before that, he was a little slower than Ida. But now with the Spider-Man powers, he's a lot faster than Ida. So he can just run past anybody. Plus he got webs. So yeah, he would just yeet himself over that ice. And where the zip line would come, he would pretty much just yeet himself over that too with the webs. And where the mines were, and so were the robots, he kind of just used the robots to basically use his webs and swing over the mines and pretty much get first place easy. So on to the cavalry battle with this powerhouse team, bro. So I'm putting Deku, Momo, Deku, Momo, Meihatsume, and Tokiyami. Because Deku is going to be basically actually running. gonna be carrying, but Tokoyami is gonna be in the back, shielding everything in the back, basically shielding the headband with his black shadow or dark shadow, and he would give a web shooter to Mei Hatsume because she's a tech whiz, so she would know how to use it. And yeah, Deku. So she can just whip over a web to people's headbands, take it from them. That's what they pretty much doing. So they're pretty much getting headbands, and no one can steal their headbands. So it's too easy for them. They get first place, plus they get they have the 10 million points, plus other people's headbands too. So they're doing pretty good for themselves. As that's pretty much the end for the cavalry battle. On to Deku and Shinzo's match. Deku basically walk up, and Shinzo he walking up, and they're doing the start with fight, and Shinzo he talking that junk. So he's like, oh, you're so lucky. You have a good quirk. Oh, you're so lucky, man. You're so lucky, man. You don't know how it feels to have a bad quirk. As Deku just ain't trying to hear his shit. He ain't trying to hear whatever he gotta say because he ain't have a quirk. He still don't even got a quirk. He just got these Spider-Man powers, man. Hey, honestly, he can just use it forever. A quirk has a limit to how long you can use it. So Deku technically can only really he can't really tire out his power. So Deku ain't trying to hear his shit, so he would just web his mouth. As if Shinzo don't ask the question, Deku can just say whatever the fuck he wants. Because if he can't ask the question, Deku can't answer something that's not a question. So yeah. He pretty much gets a web on his mouth. Shinzo can't really take it off. He don't understand what's going on. And Deku just jumped right towards him, punch him in his face. Shinzo would fall out. Yeah. And he pretty much would, dip. And yeah, he pretty much finishes that real easy. There's really nothing else that he could actually do for Shinzo. I mean, all he really had to do was punch him once. He ain't had to do him like that. So all he could really do to Shinzo was just punch him, because Shinzo he's not strong at all, so there's no reason to actually do anything much other than punch him. So Deku would basically be on the stands watching the other fights, like Bakugo versus Uraraka, Momo versus Tokoyami. Momo, she wouldn't lose, because she was training on that 2 weeks, because they actually knew about the sports festival by then. So she would actually beat Tokoyami. Uraraka, I'll say that she started trying to use her quirk in a different way. So she pretty much starting to learn how to use gravity instead of just zero gravity. So she can just make stuff she can just make stuff have more weight. So if she were to like she does, she touches Bakugo, pretty much makes him won't move because he has so much weight on him. But she would win that, and bye. Yo, it's your boy Bully, and today I'm about to do yet another My Hero What If. This is what if Deku had Miles' powers. So let's get into it. Where we last left off in this what if is with Shinzo losing to Deku pretty easily with just one punch. Deku will be watching the other fights like Bakugo versus Uraraka and Momo versus Tokoyami. Momo wins, and say that Momo wins her fight, and she moves on to the finals. But it's now to the continuation of the second part into this one, where Todoroki and Deku have to fight. So Deku would pretty much go to the stadium, and so would Todoroki. Todoroki, he really wants to beat Deku because he knows he's the strongest, fastest, and smartest in the class. So he's just gonna have to beat the number one person. But Deku, he's just trying to get the fight over with a lot faster because he's worried about Miles and how he's doing with the whole glitching thing and him supposed to be evaporating from this world. But hey, I'll explain how he's not in a couple of minutes. So yeah, Deku pretty much starts the fight with him pulling Todoroki towards him with webs and pretty much kicking him with both of his feet. Todoroki would get that blow and he ain't feeling too good, so he started using his eyes to try to protect him, as Deku is just fucking electrocuting it and it's just starting to melt into water as he just grabs Todoroki and judo slams him on the ground as Todoroki is getting even more angry as he would get up and say, "Don't use your webs," as Deku would say, "Okay, don't use your quirk then." So they would have this segment of hand-to-hand combat and I don't know how you're supposed to have hand-to-hand combat with somebody that can dodge or move, but yeah, it is what it is. Todoroki tries to throw a punch, and Deku just dodges that shit. And he pretty much take his arm. So he pretty much takes his arm and flips him to like the edge of the stadium where he could fall off. Todoroki had no chance to really use his ice, but he would try to regain balance, and he would. So he would go after Deku, saying that was a cheap move. They would continue on with this hand-to-hand combat, with Deku getting every hit in, with Todoroki getting none. Deku would basically say that he's pretty much predictable. He's just only going for the fist. Like, he's really only trying to punch him. So Todoroki pretty much pulls up on him with a kick. I'll say it would surprise him, but Deku has spider sense, so he can just flip right over it. And yeah, he just flips right over it and pretty much flips right over him, and he's behind him and he touches his shoulders so he can just get electrocuted. As say that Todoroki at this point, it would be pretty aggravated that you already have this person who is already stronger, faster, smarter, and everything, just an overall better hero than you will possibly ever be. And plus, when y'all start fighting and he's not using his quote-unquote quirk, he's still bodying you easy. Like, you're not even getting hits in. So I'll say that he's getting pretty mad, and you know how Spider-Mans are. He just kind of be just talking a whole bunch of shit while he beating you up, like. So yeah, he's pretty much, oh, you getting mad, Todoroki? You getting mad? Why you mad, bro? Why you mad, bro? So Todoroki, he mad now because yeah, he mad, he a bum. So yeah, he's starting to spark in flames. And Deku saying, okay, now you showing some real emotion. Start using your quirk. Then. Start using that fire. As Todoroki would say, I would never use my dad's quirk. As Deku would just say, it's not really his quirk. I mean, you got it. It's kind of your quirk. He doesn't control you when you use it. So it's kind of yours quirk. Like, you own it. As yeah, Deku would say that Todoroki, he'll forget that he even had a dad, because that's basically what happened in that moment. He even said it himself. So yeah, how do you forget that you have parents? That's tough. Well, he pretty much forgets that he had parents, and he pretty much tries to use his fire. It's all over the place. It's not really tame because you haven't trained it at all. So yeah, pretty much the fight goes on, and yeah, Deku, he tried to use his webs on Todoroki, but no, it kind of burns. But before it can truly detach, he just shoots some electricity through it, and I'll say that Todoroki gets a little shock from it. But so he just grabs the webs that are already detached from his body, pulls Deku forward. As it's about to go for a hit, Deku would just Deku would just dodge it by just ducking. But instead of just ducking forward, he kind of ducked backwards, just turning his back fully backward, just slide across the ground, and kick Todoroki in the back. As Todoroki would almost be able to fly away, he just uses ice to save him from getting out of the ring, and he would jump off of it, and he would start start fighting with his ice. As he would throw a punch, as Deku would basically grab it, and I'll say an ice spike would come through Todoroki's hand. But Deku having spider sense, he'll just let go of his hand, grab on his arm, and pretty much just yeet him away from him. He ain't trying to have that. And Deku pretty much goes for a finishing blow. Todoroki gets alerted by him about to go for this blow, and Deku is about to body Todoroki, so Todoroki ain't really having that. So he gonna go for his finishing move too. As they both run at each other, Deku with electric energy around his whole body, using his full strength and speed. He's running at Todoroki, and Todoroki realizes that he's running a lot faster than he is. As all they can see, or all Todoroki can see, is Deku running towards him. Then a millisecond after, gray. Just literally just gray. As Todoroki gets shot back and he gets saved by his ice. Because they did put the cement walls, and Deku just went straight through that shit. Deku is right next to Todoroki at this point. As Todoroki's pretty much, right in his little ice thing to catch him from where he was about to fall. Deku's just standing there, right there, because he just went right through the cement. As Deku did not go outside of the ring, so it ended up with a draw, a match that they would continue. So after pretty much the draw, I'll say that Deku would have to see. Not Deku's pretty much seeing, say, the other fights, I guess. So yeah, he would pretty much get a text that the particle accelerator, or the thing, I'm just gonna call it a particle accelerator because why not? The thing that's supposed to bring every Spider-Man back to their separate dimensions. They pretty much says that that's pretty much done because they've been working on it. Because him and Miles have been working on the particle accelerator at first since the 10 months, but now they got all the Spider-Mans working on it. Now it's done, and the only way Miles is keeping himself alive by, how when people are about to die, they kind of shoot electricity for those things into the body, because that's how that works, right? Yeah, so I guess that when Miles is about to die, I guess he just shoots electricity for himself So he just stays alive. So yeah, I know it's a dumb excuse, but I need something. I need something. So pretty much, this is where well, they would pretty much have this particle accelerator pretty much done, like every part of it done. So yeah, they're pretty much all putting it together, and yeah, it's pretty much being made. But Deku pretty much has to dip after. No, it's pretty much being made. He pretty much says bye to all the Spider-Mans as yeah, he thinks that's supposed to be the end of it. They leave. Everybody has a good day. He does the sports festival. He wins. Just how it's supposed to go in his head. He pretty much gets back to the match, or gets back to basically his fight being called up again, and the rematch pretty much starts because the draw had to be continued. So yeah, they'll pretty much start over, and Deku, he can take his time. He can do whatever the fuck he want now. So yeah, Deku, he moving at all types of speeds. He starts off like moving slow, not like super slow, like he's just walking. Then he just blitzes Todoroki, kicks him right in his head as Todoroki just flies across. And he pretty much gets up a little struggling like. And I'll say that Endeavor didn't really talk to him, so I guess he can really just use his fire without caring about his father or dead Endeavor or whatever the fuck. So yeah, he's just doing his shit. So he's using fire and ice, and Deku's just using his webs and his electricity. Oh yeah, and yeah, I'll say that Todoroki almost had Deku cornered for a second, but he just went all invisible on him, electrocuted him to the point where he was shocked, so he can't move. So he just dipped, used some webs, and I'll say that Todoroki, like midway as he's being webbed up to be thrown out of the ring, kind of like wakes up from the anaphylactic shock, and he's just trying to rip the webs, but it ain't really working because he a weak ass boy. And Todoroki's about to get thrown out the ring, as he would just use his fire and ice, or really just his fire, to burn the webs, and it's kind of burning the webs in himself because he's a dumb ass nigga. Look, how does Todoroki's ice make him cold, but his fire does not burn him? Why is there only a drawback for half of the quirk? Wouldn't it mean the quirk would be overpowered? The fuck? Yeah, but he's pretty much burning himself a little bit because that would make sense. If his cold half can cold himself, he should be able to burn himself with his burn half. So I don't really care. So he's pretty much being he would pretty much be let go because of the fire, and yeah, Deku would turn uninvisible for a second and run at Todoroki, but mid jump he would basically turn invisible again, not really making Todoroki kind of just look around for Deku, as Deku would de-transform from being invisible and come down, because I'll say that he jumped in the air, and he was kind of swinging from, I'll say he was swinging from a building that was higher than higher than the fucking thing. So yeah, he's kind of just swinging from that. He didn't leave the match. It's just a building that was tall, so he just kind of swings from it. And Deku pretty much did that pretty easily, as Todoroki just looked left and right behind him all types of ways, but he just didn't look up. So yeah, he just comes straight down, and he just kind of shoots electricity throughout his whole body, pretty much giving him like this adrenaline rush. So it just makes him faster and just makes him feel like he's not getting hurt even if Todoroki hits him. So he pretty much gets grabbed, and Deku pretty much grabs him by his shirt and just starts flipping him in the air. And it almost seems like how fast he's going. He's pretty much teleporting. It almost looks like, as Deku is on the upper side of where Todoroki was thrown, and he just gets hit down by Deku as Todoroki realizes that he really does not have a chance as he's struggling to get up. As well as no, this is happening, people are cheering. Something that didn't happen in canon, actually, an explosion. This is where I'm gonna change up the story because we need something to happen. Okay, so an explosion would happen, and it would kind of bring the attention, and the match would be on pause. But before they can even try to put the match on pause, Todoroki just instantly falls out. So it just goes for Deku. Deku just wins that match. But he didn't win the sports festival yet, so it's not that good. But they kind of hear an explosion, and the building just gets knocked down. As the trip that they were supposed to go on, like during the woods and shit, yeah, that's not really gonna happen. This is where it's probably gonna end in part 4. Like this is totally different. So yeah, it's pretty much finna go down right now. So a building gets blown up, and planes come through and just starts knocking in the buildings, and like everything is getting blown up. Fucking like the sports festival is getting evacuated. Everybody's running. They're stumbling on people. Fucking throwing babies. Like they're, they're, they're running, and they're just going crazy. As they pretty much all just evacuating, and everybody's just running home. As he would pretty much go check before he can get home. I'll say that he won't go home. I'll say he just swing right by his house just to see if his house is intact, if Inko's there and all that shit. He sees that Inko's okay, so he just dips. Inko wondering what the fuck happened to him. As he pretty much dips. He goes off to go find the Spider-Mans to go check this out, go see what's going on, cause shit is breaking down. As for the last time he's been fighting, pretty much the Spider-Man and woman are pretty much fighting Kingpin and a bunch of Kingpin, the League of Villains, and All for One, and there's some heroes there, but they're totally bodied, like decimated. And Shigaraki by this time would already have All for One, because yeah, pretty much Deku pretty much pulls up on the rest of the Spider-Mans, and they start fighting. They start going at it. I mean, obviously Deku pretty much goes for Shigaraki, not knowing that he has All for One's quirk. So yeah, he just trying to not let him touch him. As he would just web towards him. He just web him and pretty much shock him. Shigaraki would just not feel anything, grab the web and slam him on the floor and throw him. As Deku's basically almost flying away, he's wondering what the fuck happened to this man. Like, how is he this strong already? So he pretty much flips off the wall, and he has to know who's behind this. As he pretty much sees All for One And just the explanations and from All Might. So yeah, I guess you would see All for One, and you would think he was behind it because he's supposed to be all big and bad, but no, 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 no. He actually has a partner. Matter of fact, it's almost like All for One was the sidekick. It was Kingpin. Kingpin and All for One are pretty much all in this together. He kind of, All for One, he has his needs for the particle accelerator, and Kingpin just wants his family back. But Deku just needs the Spider-Mans to leave because they're all gonna die. As Miles pretty much stands up, he starts trying to fight, and he's a lot slower than that. He's a lot slower than he was before because and a lot less stronger because he's dying. That's kind of sad. So yeah. So he is pretty much going after Kingpin. He thinks he can handle him, but he pretty much jumps on his back to try to electrocute him. As he pretty much gets grabbed. He gets grabbed too and thrown up into the air as Kingpin would jump up, and just fucking slam him on the ground. As the explanation for Kingpin's quirk is just that every time he gets angry, the more stronger and bigger he gets. So yeah, it's something I thought of myself. So yeah, Deku pretty much sees that Miles just got bodied, so he's not trying to have that. As you pretty much try to handle Shigaraki, he would pretty much kick Shigaraki with all of his strength, and it would just totally break Shigaraki's neck. As Shigaraki would just touch his neck with 2 fingers, and it would instantly heal. As Deku, just being how smart as he is, just being him plus Spider-Man brains, he's just too smart. So he's just thinking, okay, I see how it is. As he has an idea. So he pretty much swings near to Miles, and he's pretty much attach webs to Shigaraki to just weapon him and bringing him towards him. As Shigaraki will be brung towards Deku, he would kind of go at him with disintegration, but Deku would basically grab 3 of his fingers, or his 2 fingers and his thumb, and break him, and just have 2 fingers actually working. And he would basically put Shigaraki's hand on Miles, so Miles would basically get healed, and it was like he never got glitched out. It would only start happening again after the fight. So yeah, he's fully healed. Deku kicks Shigaraki away. Miles has to recover, so he's out for like 12 seconds, but now he's back and he feels amazing. He feels like he's truly Spider-Man again. So they all pretty much squad up again, and they start going after All for One and Kingpin. They mainly go after All for One because Kingpin, he's Kingpin. Ain't nobody like that nigga. But Kingpin tries to rip through most of Spider-Man, but it's not really working because Spider-Sense and all that shit. So he's not really getting any bigger or stronger. They're not just gonna let that happen. Like he has to actually, like he's getting bigger and stronger just because he's missing every hit. But they kind of like, okay, we actually need to fight him. So I'll say like anime Spider Girl and Spider Gwen and Miles, they go after Kingpin, and regular Peter Parker and Deku, Noir Spider-Man, and Spider Ham. They all go after they go after what's his name? All for One, yeah. And Shigaraki's just sitting there with his 3 broken fingers. He heals them bitches and he starts going after Deku. Cause Deku done messed him up. Like he broke his neck, he broke his fingers, but he hate him now. So yeah, he pretty much going after him. And Deku, since Shigaraki is just basically, pretty much going at him in ignorance. He's not really actually having a plan. He's not sticking to the plan at all. Cause if All For One gets beat, he's the plan B. Okay, that was the plan. Shigaraki was never even supposed to be out here to fight. That's why Kingpin was already mad because the plan was already broken. All For One pretty much knows that the plan is already fucked up. There was supposed to be a surprise All For One when Shigaraki pulled out. But luckily, Shigaraki did not use any of his other quirks except for his disintegration and healing. So, yeah. As, Deku is pretty much, it's pretty much tag teaming All For One. He kind of thinks about his interaction with Shigaraki as he's dodging, All For One's hits and slapping him up like, Spider-Man did to Thanos. So he's pretty much bodying All For One. Because All For One, he can handle one Spider-Man, but he ain't handling like 5 of them. So he's getting marauded with all their special moves, and I guess yeah. And yeah, was the 2099 Spider-Man there in the Spider-Verse movie? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. He was, but yeah, he's not gonna be here. I don't think so. So Deku, he pretty much bodying, and he knows that he is gonna have to wrap this one up, as he pretty much sees Shigaraki, and he's gonna have to beat Shigaraki. And the only way he's gonna do that, he pretty much gets him and Miles. They kind of do like this little tag team for a last blow. Miles pretty much web his left arm. Deku goes to web the right arm, and they pretty much just pull both his arms out the socket, so he can't really use his disintegration or his fucking healing quirk, which that's all they know. They think he has. As pretty much, they're just beating on Shigaraki at this point, because Shigaraki doesn't really since Shigaraki basically is All For One, and he kind of just he's basically an All For One clone, so he can kind of like pick whatever quirks he want. Since Shigaraki's just an ignorant little fucking kid, he'll just pick the quirks that's gonna make him physically stronger and is gonna heal him, because he would think of that, but he won't think of anything else, because Shigaraki, he's only going after power because All For One being All For One for basically almost 100 years at this, like over 100 years. Let's be honest here. Like he's been All For One for multiple generations. So he has like 2,000 quirks. So he pretty much he would know what quirks to get. Okay, and plus there's no defending yourself back then because quirks are still weird. That's still a weird thing to do and have because quirks were just becoming new, where All For One was just a little kid. So yeah, I guess that Shigaraki pretty much gets bodied. He's pretty much I'll say that he's pretty much unconscious for now. And yeah, Miles is looking after him, make sure he don't move, make sure he's not waking up at any time trying to do something. And the rest of the Spider-Men are pretty much trying to take care of All For One. As All For One would look over to the left and see that Shigaraki is pretty much getting bodied, or already got bodied, and they're all just bodying, and they're pretty much bodying Kingpin, because he barely even, like, at the end of Spider-Verse, he couldn't beat Miles, so he's bodying them. So yeah, Kingpin gets bodied. Once Kingpin gets bodied by all the Spider-Man, all for one, well, All Might comes through, and with the help of All Might, they all body All for One pretty easily. There's really no other way I can really explain this. I'll continue the rest of the story on part 4.
Alright, yo, it's your boy Oblique, and we're back with yet another part of What If Deku Had Miles' powers. It's been 4 billion years. I know, it's, it's really wild. So, basically, where I last left off, when Orphan was getting his cheeks double down clapped. He was getting his cheeks obliterated. There's really no way I can actually say that. Now, even past me said that too. So let me get into what I really got what's really going on. So basically, we kind of start this off with Shigaraki actually waking up. And the reason why nobody's like safeguarding it anymore is because that all the other Spider-Mans and Deku, basically Deku is like running is like all they're all swinging into where the quantum particle or whatever the fuck the shit is named. They're all running to that place to find the quantum physics shit and to send them back home because they think the job is done. They think it's all over, and basically Shigaraki, he wakes up and he just like sees a bunch of rubble, fires and everything, and he's like, "Damn, I really got clapped up." So what he does, he starts to heal his body parts as he can barely walk without it. So he starts to heal his body parts, and he sees like the piece of rubble that All For One is stuck in, bro. And he sees All For One all fucked up, bro. All For One is clapped. So he sees All For One, and All For One tells him to come here, right? And that's when that whole little thingy happens, basically. And All For One has like a soul transfer quirk. So basically, All For One, not like All For One gave him. All For One basically gave him his full All For One quirk when he transferred his soul into Shigaraki's body, as he basically did in there. So it's basically like the thing, he leaves his body so he can be in Shigaraki's body and take over, basically. But that's not something that's going to be happening right now. But yeah, so right now, All For One can't even take over because like he just got into the body, so he can't even his presence isn't strong enough to do anything. So Shigaraki can only access some of the quirks, not all of them. So basically, like Shigaraki just feels like a rush of power, and he realizes that's not even the full power of All For One. He's like, damn, I'm about to go clap cheeks right now. So basically, he continues, and he actually starts flying. He actually starts flying for real. So he starts flying, and he's like going all across he's just going all across Japan and all the places they could have went. And you remembered Kingpin quantum particle or whatever the fuck. And he goes straight towards that. And he basically sees it being turned on and your Spider-Man, trying to jump into it. And he basically uses like a creation quirk to create the saucer that Green Goblin was flying on, and he just flew that shit right into the New World Spider-Man. And this nigga fucking chest is fucked. Like that shit went right through him for real. So like he's tapped, he's out. Like for real though, like he's fucking tapped. So basically, everybody's like in shock, and right, this is really a problem for regular Peter Parker, because Peter Parker done already had enough with this, because if you really think about it, bro, it's Uncle Ben, Aunt May, Mary Jane left him, so like he don't really got nothing. Like now, like the only friends he got is now being clocked by Shigaraki, bro. He not having that, so he's kind of like he's kind of like extra mad now, and he's about to go clap cheeks. So he starts swinging around, everybody's swinging around, jumping out over the partum qualitor, and like Miles tells um Spider Anime Girl to go with her robot and just like move out the way and go to her own world. And she's like, no, 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 I'm gonna stay here and stay here. And that's when her robot get fucking smashed, bro. No homo, of course. So like her robot like gets like one of the Green Goblin balls, explosions, right up to the bottom. No homo, of course. So basically, like that shit fly up, and it blows up, and she basically she basically gets hurt from the explosion too, and she falls into the thingy anyway, and she gets sent into New War's world because it never actually got changed, since Yunor was the first person to go. And like Yunor, he actually like gets out like of the contraption that is the saucer, and he just goes straight after the anime Spider Girl because he doesn't have anything else to do. One is his world, and two, he has to save her before she gets glitched out of reality. So like he's running and running, and he jumps through the thing, and he so they basically like spawn in the ear, and he's seeing her about to go fall, and since she doesn't really actually have powers for real, she really just has like a very small like piece of the spider bot with her, and she holds it around her hand, and then like the nanotech comes around and folds her whole body and like protects her from her dry or for her drop. And he doesn't know, so he just saw her flew by, and she went out of sight, and just heard a big drop. So he thinks she died or whatever. And it is what it is. So basically, like he trying to find her whenever, and we get back to Miles, Deku, and Peter Parker fighting um the Shigaraki. Shigaraki's over here making clones of himself, doing Rasengans and shit, like doing all types of shit he shouldn't be doing right now. But he really fucking going crazy on him. Especially Deku, like he slammed him into the shit. Like he slamming, like he picked up Deku by the leg and slammed him on the quantum physics shit, and like like his arm went into another dimension for real. So yeah, so bro he really struggling, bro. He's really struggling. He's struggling, bro. So he's really struggling to fight Shigaraki right now. And he putting up some hands. He putting up some hands, especially with Peter Parker and Miles Morales. So Miles Morales, he uses like his little venom shit, and he have like a spark of lightning go down from his shoulder, and he like trying to like jabs Shigaraki in his chest, and it does do a quick little hole for him, right? Everybody think he got clocked up, he think he got dead, right? So what really happens is a clone. It it was a clone. So basically, the real Shigaraki, he basically uninvisible now. Like he basically uninvisible now, and like he's going in and out of being invisible while fighting Peter Parker, and he basically no homo. He basically makes an invisible clone, right? And he being himself invisible right now, he actually went to the fucking thing and shut it down. So it trapped what's her name, the anime Spider Girl in New War's world, and she's glitching and dying and shit, and she itching and burning, no homo. So basically, like he's giving Peter Parker the two beats no sauce. right now. So like he really doing him dirty, and he basically has that moment, his moment from the manga when he just becomes a god tier character. So he starts spreading wings and shit, flying everywhere and shit. Just do a little key blast down there, and it kind of like it hit Miles in his leg, and kind of like blows off his shoe and shit, and like his shit all fucked up, like he bleeding and shit, and it kind of like flipped him over, and he hit like one of the metal walls, and he went right into he crashed right into one of the electricity shits. So he went right into a powerhouse basically, and it basically shut down the entire city that shit was located in. Because Miles just like as soon as he hit it, he absorbed it and decharged it everywhere. Because like that's how strong that little key blast shit was. So he basically flipped them over to that powerhouse shit, and it just destroyed everything. And it was really destabilizing. It was destabilizing Shigaraki's quirk actually. And the reason why is because right this was bioelectricity. So like it was so uncontrollable that it actually like destabilized people's quirks. And the reason why it's not affecting the Spider-Mans that are awake, Peter Parker and Deku, is because they don't have actual quirks. One, because Peter Parker, Earth doesn't have quirks. Two, Deku never had a quirk, and he had to get the Peter Parker powers himself, or the Mid Morales powers himself. So real tragic for him, I guess. So basically, you know, the two Spooderman, it actually see the opening where it is, and he kind of leaves him a little bit more like paralyzed, and they web him they web around his neck, and they slam into the wall, or they slam into the wall, then like they throw him onto the ground, start kicking him and shit, like they really doing him dirty, like they doing him dirty, and like Deku like yeah chill, it's my turn. So he really started clapping. Like he was really, bro. When I tell you, he was really clapping his body and his cheeks. So it was really crazy if you really ask me. But it is what it is, bro. It is what it is, right? Yeah, hold on. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that Shigaraki is getting clapped and shit, and I forgot about this man, but Spider Ham, he comes there with his little super hammer cartoon shit, and Shigaraki turns over with a claw of roots, and he basically just stabs right through him, right? And Spider Ham is actually like, oh fuck, he crying and shit. No blood is squirting out his asshole. No homo, of course. Um, Peter Parker's like, damn. And Miles Morales, like, he sees it, bro. He finally woke up from his like year-long coma, bro. And he's like, oh, I can't let this shit happen again. So right, he's like, I can't let this shit happen again. Oh. And he takes his little shit, with that supercharged arm he got, and he basically he just bum rushes a bunch of lightning energy into Shigaraki's body. And like before he does that, like he basically takes all the electricity from Shigaraki's body, and he can't move anymore. So he has no electricity in his brain, and he can't use his brain to control all his limbs and shit. So like he takes this shit from him, right? Then he like supercharges his body with electricity and just fries his nerves and shit. And like his arm goes through his body, and it's over for this man. He can't even heal. And like All For One Soul is trying to control the body and trying to get out of there and all that stuff, but it's really just not doing anything. It's just his hands and legs just flinging around, because his presence isn't strong enough in Shigaraki's body to actually move. So he just kind of like spamming basically, like he's flailing all around, and he can't do anything, and he just dies. So the body just died. The body just died, and everybody's like, "Damn, bro, really got clapped." So everybody who's alive, Spider Gwen, of course, Mid Morales, Deku, and Peter Parker, they all go and back to their own worlds. Or Deku's already in his own world, but that's the end of it for real. Yeah, y'all niggas really waste y'all time. Thought this was gonna be a good what if or whatever. Yeah, you thought, bitch ass nigga.